Welcome everyone to Confederation of Indian Private Universities Knowledge Dialogue Series. Confederation of Indian Private University, CIPU, is a not-for-profit membership-driven platform committed to strengthen the voice, visibility and value of universities in India. They work to foster academic excellence, policy advocacy, institutional collaboration by connecting thought leaders from academia, industry and government. Voice of University Government under CIPU Knowledge Dialogue Series is today's session on ensuring academic integrity, digital proctoring and examination reforms. It is my pleasure to welcome the esteemed panelists here. I would take this opportunity and honor to introduce my panelists to you. I first have on my right hand side Professor B.P. Garg. Professor Garg is Controller of Examinations and Registrar in Charge, Central University of Punjab, Bathinda. Professor Garg has extensive administrative and academic experience, currently holding dual responsibility of Registrar in Charge and Controller of Examinations at the Central University of Punjab. He has been instrumental in implementing examination reforms and ensuring transparency, efficiency and policy alignment at the Central University level. We welcome Professor Garg, and it would be a wonderful opportunity to hear insights from such a renowned academician on the board. Thank you for joining us, Professor Garg. I now take your attention to Dr. Shruti Goyal. Dr. Shruti Goyal is Controller of Examination, Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, Punjab. Dr. Shruti brings rich experience from the legal education sector, where fairness, objectivity and credibility of assessment carries special weight. She has been actively engaged in introducing reforms to strengthen academic integrity and ensure examinations reflect both legal and ethical responsibility. We would be having deep insights from her rich experience and will be centered towards legal knowledge and ethical responsibility. Welcome Dr. Goyal on the board.
Thank you.
We are blessed to have you as our panel member. Now, attention towards my left, we have Dr. Sanjiv Singh. Dr. Sanjiv Singh sir is Controller of Examination, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule Rohilkhand University, Bareilly. Dr. Singh oversees examinations at one of the largest university in Uttar Pradesh, catering to a vast and diverse student population. His workforce on scaling reforms in digital proctoring and examination systems while addressing challenges of inclusivity, accessibility and quality assurance across affiliated colleges. He will be giving us insights on how a large university caters to diverse and a mix of students and will be providing his elucidation to the audience. Thank you, sir, Dr. Singh, for joining us. Now, on my left to the second, Dr. Rajiv Kamal Sharma. Rajiv sir is Controller of Examination, Chitkara University, Punjab. He's also a renowned academician, Professor of Mechanical Engineering. Dr. Sharma is also working for last 22 years in the experience in the domain of teaching, research and academic administration. He has been instrumental in driving examination reforms focused on efficiency, transparency and academic excellence. I welcome Dr. Sharma on the board, and put together we have more than 100 years of experience putting the individual experience together on this panel, and I welcome my fellow panelists on the panel. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. So with the permission of the house, we'll take it forward, and I am ready with my opening question. The opening question will be general. It will be the flow that we will have an opening question which will be open to the panelists, followed by panelist specific questions. We have some questions in mind. We will be asking our esteemed panelists one after the other. But to begin with, we will have an open question, and I request my fellow panelists to give their insights, and then we can proceed forward to the individual panelist specific questions. So we shall be moving with the opening question, which is general to all the panelists. The first question, which is open to all the panelists, is about today's higher education ecosystem. So the question is about, in today's higher education ecosystem, what does academic integrity mean to you? And how do you see it shaping examination reforms in the digital era? I repeat my question. In today's higher education ecosystem, what does academic integrity mean to you? And how do you see it shaping examination reforms in the digital era? Thank you, and the House is now open to the esteemed panelists for their viewpoints.
Thank you, Dr. Devesh, for this question. So, according to me, academic integrity is there when faculty, students, and institutions they conduct teaching, learning, assessments, and such in such a way that they are very much honest, fair, transparent, and robust. These processes are very trustworthy also. Now, why academic integrity should be in the core of any institution? So, according to me, whenever we are offering various courses in our organization, then those courses are, or those programs are basically defined in terms of some certain program objectives or program education objectives. We generally call them POs and PEOs. So, what is the main POs which the program should address? They are the professional competencies, lifelong learning, then problem solving skills among the students, then communication skill among the students, the skill to work in a team among the students, and there are employability skills, entrepreneurship skills, and few more to say. So, when a student is graduating from the organization and the organization is integrated academically, then these skills or these competencies are reflected in the grade card, mark sheet, degree, or we can say in the portfolio of the student. So, when student is graduating, they are giving their portfolios to the outer world. Then in that case, if the institution is academically integrated, then that will give the true reflection of the student. The student will definitely be successful in the rest of his life. But if the institutions are not academically integrated, then in that case, what I feel is the portfolio of the student will not give the true reflection of the student. And when it is not going to give the true reflection of the student, definitely when student is moving to the outer world, they will be rejected. Now, how this academic integrity will help examination in implementing various reforms or digitalization of various reforms. So, if the if the institutions are academically integrated, then in that case, we all being from the examination cell or examination department, we feel that then we can give free hands to the faculty members, we can give free hands to the students also, where faculty can do the assessments in different possible ways, like open book examination, or they can use online platforms for the evaluation of the student. And we are sure in that case that faculty is evaluating students corresponding to the well-defined program objectives, well-defined course objectives, and at different levels of Bloom taxonomy also. And students, if they are academically integrated, then definitely they are, during the assessments, they are not using any malpractices, any unfair means, and they want that they must be evaluated in the right manner. But if academic integrity is not there, then definitely digitalization will be a problem for all of us. That's what I feel.
Exceptional input, sir. We now move to Professor B.P. Garg. He would like to contribute. Please, sir.
Academic integrity, it refers to the policies and standards that govern the education institutions in respect to trust, fairness, respect and responsibility among the staff and students. So in this includes the authenticity which is required. The clear perfection should be made there, and transparency should also be maintained, fairness and accountability for any type of misconduct or malpractices if involved in the examination system. Whereas concerned with the digital era, it is the joint venture of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and Ministry of Education. They have introduced National Academic Depository and DigiLocker system, where every academic record of the student from DMC, degrees and transcripts are uploaded from the inception of the university. Like in the Central University of Punjab, I have completed all the process from 2009 to till now, every record of the student has been uploaded on this portal, and now the academic records are available on the DigiLocal platform. Students needed to carry the documents, required academic certificates, and they can just download the academic records and showcase everywhere and to wherever they appear in for the interview. And in the digital era, measures are followed, technology based. The technology may also be used to conduct the examinations, and proctoring of the examinations, open book examinations and proctored examinations can also be implemented with respect to using the digital era. And biometric verification may also be introduced to protect the impersonation and kind of this.
Exceptional inputs from Professor Garg and Professor Sharma. So for the learners, for the students, for the academicians, when we think of digital era, we limit ourselves to an examination mode only. But we generally think that only the mode of examination has changed from a classroom to an online where one can appear in exam from the house or maybe a cafeteria. But while with sir's input, the honest, fair, transparent and robust system is not just implemented during the examination, but also after the examination, where sir has taken an initiative of actually digitizing all the records of last 15 years, which is a commendable job, and by making a unique ID, which is Academic Bank of Credit, ABC ID, for every student, which is a learner for each of the learning for each of the learner, that how can they get their records digitized and can be used at the time of an interview, and the organizations, because CIPU is a platform that bridges the gap between industry and academia. So at one end, academia is getting itself stronger by creating a digital platform, ABC IDs, and industries can also check those degrees and scores by just merely putting an ID, Academic Bank of Credit ID of a student, and can download with utmost sacrosanity and privacy, and at the same time the records are actually genuine. There should not be a case where the records presented by an interviewee are different at the time of the interview, and at validation the scenario is a little different. So exceptional input, sir, and I truly believe that the digital India is being followed at the university level, at least at the examination level. You are maintaining everything in a very sacrosanct repository. Thank you, Professor Garg and Professor Singh. And at the same time, Rajiv sir, you have given exceptional input, and Shruti ma'am, if you would like to add something, that how do you see this digital era being a transformation for the examination from a controller of examination standpoint, where you see disciplines like law, etc.
So, according to me, the biggest challenge of this time is that how do we integrate technology and ensure academic integrity. So I think we are in an era where you get a ready answer to every question. So my focus would be that how do we ensure that the students, they learn value-based education, and then the effort should be that they see truthfulness, we see how truthfully they have put their effort to bring up a project or give their exams. So the challenge to me is integrating technology with the examination system.
Exceptional. So examination system at a standpoint is piggybacking on technology, so it becomes a technology driven examination system. So much appreciate your point, ma'am. Dr. Singh, हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी में भी आपने जैसे बताया that you have 5 lakh students, बहुत सारे students हैं, और वहाँ पे टेक्नोलॉजी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन आसान तो नहीं होगा इतना लार्ज लेवल पे. Is your university also taking some measures, वो भी कुछ इनिशिएटिव्स ले रहे हैं जहाँ पे कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ हम लोग कर पाएं, because I understand the volume of student is high, the different walks of life student come from, students have some access to technology, कुछ students के पास टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सेस नहीं रहा उनके स्कूल टाइम में, तो वहाँ पे आप कैसे इसे चैलेंज और अपॉर्चुनिटी की तरह ट्रीट करते हैं जहाँ पे टेक्नोलॉजी इतना बड़ा एक रोल प्ले कर रहा है.
महात्मा ज्योतिबा फुले बुंदेलखंड विश्वविद्यालय बरेली उत्तर प्रदेश के बड़े विश्वविद्यालयों में से जहाँ छात्र संख्या 5 लाख प्लस है, में हम लोगों ने काफ़ी प्रयास किया है कि एकेडमिक सेशन टाइमली होता रहे। क्यों? क्योंकि वहाँ रूरल बैकग्राउंड और शहरी बैकग्राउंड की वजह से दोनों को हम लोग को मिक्सअप करके देखना पड़ता है, क्योंकि जो शहर से छात्र आते हैं उनकी प्रायोरिटी दूसरी रहती है, गांव की दूसरी रहती है। लेकिन हम लोगों ने एकेडमिक इंटीग्रिटी में ये हमेशा प्रयास किया है कि छात्रों को दूर दराज के, चूँकि वहाँ लगभग 600-650 कॉलेजेस रुहेलखंड विश्वविद्यालय जुड़े हुए हैं, तो ऐसी स्थिति में हम लोगों को रिमोट एरियाज़ में भी छात्रों को ऑनलाइन व्यवस्था हम लोग प्रोवाइड कराते हैं, जिससे कि टाइमली इतने बड़े सिस्टम को हम लोग मेंटेन कर सकें। उसमें सबसे बड़ी चीज़ ये है कि हम लोग ऑनलाइन फॉर्म भराते हैं और कुछ सुविधाओं की वजह से ही विश्वविद्यालय इस समय नेट AA++ ग्रेड प्राप्त किया हुआ है, जो कि उस क्षेत्र के रुहेलखंड क्षेत्र के लिए एक बड़े गौरव की बात है। इसके क्रम में हम लोग जो परीक्षाएं कराते हैं उसमें हम लोगों ने इस तरह की व्यवस्था कराई है कि जो भी सेंटर्स बनते हैं वहाँ पे हम लोग कैमरे लगवाते हैं और कैमरे के से ही निगरानी होती है, जिसे विश्वविद्यालय में एक सेंटर बनाते हुए उसकी निगरानी की जाती है ताकि परीक्षाएं सुस्थतापूर्ण हों। क्यों? क्योंकि परीक्षाएं यदि सुस्थतापूर्ण होंगी तो छात्रों में विश्वास की भावना होगी, पेरेंट्स में वो भावनाएं आएंगी, और जिस वजह से उस क्षेत्र में रुहेलखंड विश्वविद्यालय ने अपना एक स्थान कायम किया हुआ है। इसी के साथ हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन जो मॉनिटरिंग होती है उसके अलावा हम लोगों ने अपने जो ऑनलाइन रिजल्ट घोषित करते हैं उसमें हम लोगों ने छात्रों की सुविधा के लिए, क्योंकि कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि एडमिशन का समय पास ही रहने की वजह से, तो जो ऑनलाइन हम लोग मार्कशीट जारी करते हैं उसमें हम लोगों ने बारकोड दिया हुआ है, जिसमें छात्रों की सारी डिटेल्स रहती हैं। उससे छात्रों को ये लाभ होता है कि ऑनलाइन मार्कशीट लेके अगर वो जाते हैं किसी दूसरी यूनिवर्सिटी में तो उस बारकोड से उनके सारे डिटेल्स उसमें शो होने लगते हैं, जिससे कि उनको मार्कशीट वाली दिक्कत का सामना नहीं करना पड़ता है। क्यों? क्योंकि ओरिजिनल मार्कशीट छपने में थोड़ी टाइम लग जाता है, लेकिन इस बारकोड की वजह से उनको किसी भी तरीके की दिक्कत का सामना नहीं करना पड़ता है। इसके अलावा हम लोग ऑनलाइन एवेल्युएशन भी कराते हैं, जिससे कि इंटीग्रिटी बनी रहे, पेरेंट्स में भी ये भावना आए कि वहाँ पे हर तरह की ट्रांसपेरेंसी है, जिससे कि जब पेरेंट्स में आएगी भावनाएं तो वो दूसरों को भी इंस्पायर करेंगे कि भाई आप रुहेलखंड विश्वविद्यालय में आइए। और इसके अलावा हम लोग ऑनलाइन माइग्रेशन भी प्रोवाइड कराते हैं, प्रोविजनल डिग्री भी प्रोवाइड कराते हैं, और साथ ही हम लोगों ने एक नया प्रयास किया है कि ब्लॉकचेन के माध्यम से अब हम लोग उसमें कुछ एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी ले आ रहे हैं, जिसमें ब्लॉकचेन के माध्यम से हम लोगों ने इस साल डिग्री देने का विचार किया हुआ है कि ब्लॉकचेन को उसमें इन्वॉल्व किया जाए, और इन फ्यूचर हम लोग ब्लॉकचेन में मार्कशीट को भी ले आएंगे ताकि छात्रों को बैठे बैठे ही वो सुविधा मिलती रहे, और इस तरीके से विश्वविद्यालय अपने एकेडमिक क्षेत्र में, एग्ज़ाम के क्षेत्र में ट्रांसपेरेंसी से और फैसिलिटेट करके अच्छी सुविधाएं देने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
बहुत धन्यवाद सर, exceptional inputs provided by sir. I mean, I was astonished and surprised to hear words like they are doing barcode integration of all the DMCs. Every DMC has a barcode and at the same time blockchain. I have no doubt in my mind that such a great university deserve to have A++, and sir, congratulations to you. And the university is doing constant effort despite the fact that they have 5 lakh students and many colleges. I think they have taken it as a great opportunity. And when it comes to opportunity or challenges, you either crack the iceberg or go around. So I am sure that your university has actually sir cracked the iceberg, और आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई आपके A++ के लिए। आप निश्चित ही इसे डिजर्व करते थे, और government has taken the right decision to put you at the best 2% of the universities in the country. Congratulations, and thank you respected panelists for insightful information that they bring with more than 2 decades of individual experience, and like I mentioned earlier, we have 100 years of experience on the table. So taking the discussion forward, now it is a time for panelist specific questions, because sir, not just students and academicians of your university would like to learn from your experiences, but also through CIPU, which is Confederation of Indian Private University, has a great connect with 100,000 students and much of the academicians जो आपसे input लेना चाहते हैं, they want to have inputs from you. And Professor Garg, it is my privilege to ask the first question to you. So my first question is to Professor B.P. Garg. Garg sir, you bring both administrative and academic perspective. So there's on one side there's academic and on the other side there's administrative. So sir is a blend and the master of two as registrar in charge and controller of examination. So from this dual vantage point, what broad policy level changes do you feel could make examination system more transparent and accountable across universities? I'll repeat the question for the audience. Sir, you bring both administrative and academic perspective as registrar in charge and controller of examination. From this dual vantage point, what broad policy level changes do you feel could make examination system more transparent and accountable across universities? Thank you and for your input, sir.
Yes, sir. First of all, I would like to congratulate CIPU and Chitkara University for their great efforts to conduct this type of program. To enhance the transparency and accountability in the examination system, there are three components of the examination system. One is the conduct, second is the secrecy, and third one is the evaluation. In the conduct part, we should maintain that transparency. There should not be any sort of ambiguity so that a student may not remain in confusion, and every stakeholder should be very clear from the policies of the university regarding the conduct of the examination. Second one is the secrecy. Secrecy should be maintained up to some extent where it is required. Almost the results should be published on the digital platform, and in the Central University of Punjab, so far I am concerned that everything has been digitalized and there is nothing is kept secret. For evaluation purpose, at the university level, we conduct evaluation in a transparent manner. And accountability mechanism fix जो करने के लिए इसमें जो what is required that we have administered ombudsperson, former vice chancellor of the Central University of Punjab, and regular audits and reforms are also being conducted. Accountability for service providers, it is also been fixed. For ombudsperson, they settle out the problems, queries, complaints, whatever the students make, and they are reflected on the portal, and at the ombudsperson level, these problems are listened properly and everyone given the equal opportunity to sort the problems. Regular audits and reviews should also be conducted so that the scope of improvement should also be there, and where it is felt that some scope of improvement or is required, that is completed. And accountability for service providers, the responsibility should also be fixed for the service providers with respect to the stakeholders. If any fault is searched out, then stringent penalties should also be given, and clear guidelines should also be floated on the website as well as the emails, and regular updates and announcements from the UGC and ministry that shall also be sent through the emails to every faculty member or the students. And technology integration, flying squad team should also be constituted, and capacity building program, staff training and infrastructure investment should also be upgraded for the betterment of the examination system.
Exceptional input from Professor Garg, sir. Sir brought all the three pillars of examination to his discussion, where he suggested about the conduct, suggested about secrecy, and guided us on the evaluation per se. Sir also suggested that how all the stakeholders are actually taken into consideration. Transparency is maintained at every level. With one hand, secrecy is also taken care. At the same time, sir also ensures that the service providers give the best service, and there is no deviation when it comes to honesty and integrity, and stringent actions are waiting in case of any deviation. That's what is expected from a controller of examination of university of such a high stature. And at the same time, sir was very kind and lenient to suggest that we always keep a scope of improvement, because at one point, if the university or the controller of examination thinks that I'm doing the best job, then the scope of improvement is actually shuttered. But sir suggested that we always keep ourselves open for feedback, suggestions, not just from the students but also from the faculty members, parents and others as a stakeholder. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful input, and I really liked the way, and our audience would also like, how you bring all the stakeholders together with utmost transparency and secrecy as the highest standards. Thank you, Professor Garg. We heard insights from Garg sir, who is also controller of examination, at the same time registrar in charge, Central University of Punjab, Bathinda. Thank you, sir. I'll now move the attention of the audience towards a very renowned academician, Ma'am Shruti Goyal. Professor Shruti Goyal, ma'am, is controller of examination, Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, Punjab. So, ma'am, my question to you is, in disciplines like law, where ethics and fairness are integral, how do you see value-based education working alongside technology to ensure integrity in examinations? As part of the role, I repeat the question. In disciplines like law, where ethics and fairness are integral, how do you see value-based education working alongside technology to ensure integrity in examinations? Ma'am, we need your guidance and your insights on this wonderful question.
Thank you, sir. Your question is in fact very important and timely, that in this era of technology, how do we ensure academic integrity in exams? So I would like to focus that in today's world, we are not talking only about intellectual ability of the student. We want a 360-degree holistic development of the student. So how do we ensure 360-degree holistic development? That in addition to pen and paper exam, even the national education policy, it is focusing that more emphasis should be based on competence-based learning. When I say competence-based learning, I want to emphasize that as part of our curriculum in law field and in all the disciplines, we are focusing more on continuous assessment. So the challenge is that how do we ensure academic integrity when we are focusing on continuous assessment? Continuous assessment may we give the students projects, we give them assignments, we give them seminars, and the challenge that the universities are facing nowadays is how to ensure that all these seminars or projects or assessments that we have given to them, they are not plagiarized. So that is the biggest challenge of the time. So when I refer to this challenge, I would like to say that when tools like artificial intelligence were developed, and we had ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, DeepSeek, and they were discovered in November 2022, the whole idea of inculcating them in our education system was daunting. In fact, 2 months later, in January 2023, even the New York Times reported that integration of these online tools like ChatGPT, it would hamper the education system and learning among students. But what we need to understand today is, we cannot ignore tools like ChatGPT. We cannot ignore tools like Grammarly. So the need of the hour is that we ensure that these tools are used in a responsible manner. We teach our students the ethics, the morals with which these tools are to be used. So the time has come when we teach them that it's fine to use these tools, but do not use it for the end product. Because as I am seeing in my university also, in every paper, 35% of the marks they are dedicated to continuous assessment, where the students are asked to make projects, and most of the projects are either they have been produced by ChatGPT or other online tools. So the focus should be that we teach them that how these artificial intelligence tools, they are to be used ethically. So my 4-point strategy would be that we tell the students that you can use these tools for brainstorming the ideas. Because what we expect from a student coming directly from school, that now we have given you a project and you go and write on that project, whereas the student does not have any exposure how to write the research project and how to think about different ideas. So we can tell them that technology can be used to brainstorm on the ideas. Secondly, these tools, they can be used to create an outline of your project, and then the student should individually work on each and every outline that has been created with the help of these tools. Thirdly, these tools can help the student for structuring his assignment or his seminar work or project work or research. So we need to tell them that it is fine if you use these tools, and even the 4th point according to me is that these tools can be used for reviewing. As English is a foreign language to us, it is our second language, and many a times we do not know how to structurize the sentences properly. So these tools can be used as a reviewing technique to review our projects. So according to me, time has come when we accept the use of technology, especially in those part of the exams where we are talking about seminar works, because when we say pen and paper exam, there the audience is captive. There we can dictate our rules that you are not supposed to carry any technological device into the examination center. But when we talk about seminar papers, at that time we can say our rules, but still the ball is in the game, is with the students. So we need to teach them that use these tools, you need to use them ethically, you need to use them responsibly. And I think this is a platform where we can devise some policy that how these tools can be actually used for continuous assessment, and how these tools can actually help the students as well as teachers in shaping their future. So that is my viewpoint on using technology along with value-based education.
Exceptional insights from Dr. Shruti Goyal. In fact, every word that she said actually insisted on the fact that we cannot avoid technology. Technology has taken a toll, but how do we use technology as an assistant, not as our boss? Let's not become an assistant to that technology, not using it for the end goal, but using it as a supporting tool, where we should not ignore these large language models like ChatGPT and utilize them in a way where they can save our time for some boring tasks, but not at the same time making it for the final report, so that at the end tool should not become intelligent and we should not become a little less intelligent than the tool. Ma'am also insisted on the fact that how pen and paper examination is now moving towards a continuous evaluation, so formative and summative modes of examinations, because evaluation is a continuous journey. Learning is a continuous journey. It cannot be justified that a student learns for 6 months throughout the semester and is evaluated towards the end of the semester. So great initiative by MAM's institution, and I'm sure other institutions also give stress to the continuous evaluation. Ma'am also suggested a point on competency-based education, brushed on NEP, where 360-degree holistic development of the student is imperative. We are not just giving the knowledge to the student, developing skills in the student. For instance, digital mindset is a competency. Critical thinking is a competency. So these are the competencies that their institution is developing in the student through continuous learning and at the same time evaluation. Thank you, ma'am, for these wonderful insights, and it was really elucidating the way you suggested that how in a domain like law, where morals and ethics have high standards, fairness cannot be ignored, plagiarism is not acceptable, how still the technology like ChatGPT can be used and can be supported for your end-to-end job, and probably it can be your assistant and you can actually ride on it as a mode of transport, but not just make it the driver of your car. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful insights. So I think the panelists on my right have contributed enough, and now it's time for the panelists on the left. And I would take the opportunity to first go to Sanjiv sir, because Sanjiv sir supports, or actually I would say that he is at the center of 5 lakh students. He's at the center of not just a university, but to many institutions which are affiliated. So I would say, sir, my heart goes when you tell the count of the student, when you tell that my students are not just purely urban student, we have rural students, urban students, which is a combination of rural and urban, and then there are urban students as well. When you told me that you are using barcodes, I was astonished to hear that, and our audience was also inspired by the word you use, blockchain, and how you plan to get into the blockchain. No matter the university is A++, like sir suggested. So Sanjiv sir, controller of examination, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, Rohilkhand University, Bareilly. Sir, large universities face challenge of scale and diversity. From your experience, what broad strategies can help that examination reform remain inclusive and equitable, especially for students from rural or resource limited area? I repeat my question for sir and the audience. Large state university face the challenge of scale and diversity. From your experience, Sanjiv sir, what broad strategies can help that examination reforms remain inclusive and equitable, especially for students from rural or resource limited areas? Sir, आपके students आपको सुनना चाहते हैं, और बाकी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के स्टूडेंट्स और एकेडमिशियंस भी एक व्यू पॉइंट चाहते हैं आपसे कि कैसे इतनी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी जहाँ पे हर स्टूडेंट एक दूसरे से अलग है, 5 लाख स्टूडेंट्स को कैसे आप केटर करते हैं सर?
रोहिलखंड विश्वविद्यालय से लगभग आपको जान के आश्चर्य होगा कि 680 महाविद्यालय जुड़े हुए हैं, और उसमें हम लोग जो परीक्षा कराते हैं वो लगभग 350 सेंटर के आसपास बनाते हैं एग्जामिनेशन के लिए, और उन सेंटरों पे अभी हम लोग मैनुअली पेपर भिजवाते हैं। और इसके अलावा हम लोगों ने ये अभी सोचा हुआ है कि चूँकि रूरल बैकग्राउंड के छात्र हैं, तो अभी हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं ऑनलाइन पेपर भेजना, और हम लोग वो भी प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि ऑनलाइन जब हम लोग पेपर भेजने की स्थिति में आ जाएंगे, तो हम लोग ये जो इतना बड़ा सिस्टम चलाते हैं उसको रिजल्ट को निकालने में हम लोग चाहते हैं कि रिजल्ट जल्दी निकल जाए। और हम लोगों ने रूरल बैकग्राउंड का लगभग 60% आता है रूरल बैकग्राउंड का, लेकिन उन छात्रों को फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन प्रैक्टिकल, और प्रैक्टिकल के मार्क्स भी ऑनलाइन आते हैं, यहाँ तक कि सेशनल के भी मार्क्स हम लोग ऑनलाइन ही मंगाते हैं, जिससे कि हम लोग टाइमली रिजल्ट को कंपाइल करके और निकाल देते हैं, जिस वजह से हमारे गांव के दूर दराज के क्षेत्र के लड़के अतिरिक्त अवसर पा जाते हैं। इसमें सबसे बड़ा योगदान रहा है उन छात्रों का, क्योंकि हम लोग जो भी प्रयास करेंगे बिना छात्रों की सहयोग के, बिना उसको सपोर्ट किए हुए हम लोग इस प्रयास में सफल नहीं हो पाते। लेकिन छात्रों ने भी काफ़ी प्रयास किया और हम लोग भी बराबर प्रयास करते हैं कि जो सुविधा शहरी बैकग्राउंड के छात्रों को मिलती है वही ग्रामीण बैकग्राउंड के छात्रों को मिले, क्योंकि कभी कभी क्या होता है कि हम लोगों को कुछ चैलेंजेस भी फेस करने पड़ते हैं। जैसे कि मान लीजिए कि वो फॉर्म खुद नहीं भर पाए, और भर क्यों नहीं पाए, इस वजह से क्योंकि सभी लड़कों के पास स्मार्टफोन नहीं हो पाते हैं। रूरल बैकग्राउंड होने की वजह से उनके पिता किसान हैं या कुछ कोई सामान बेचते हैं, जिस वजह से कि उनकी इनकम भी इतनी नहीं होती है जिस वजह से उस चीज़ को वो मेंटेन कर सकें। होता क्या है कि हम लोग ऑनलाइन जब फॉर्म भराते हैं तो उसमें एक मोबाइल नंबर लेते हैं जिस पे कि OTP आ जाता है, और कभी कभी क्या होता है कि वो मोबाइल जो है उनके पेरेंट्स के पास होने के कारण वो चीज़ें समय से कम्युनिकेट नहीं हो पाती हैं उन छात्रों को। इस वजह से हम लोगों को थोड़ी चैलेंजेस फेस करने पड़ते हैं, और हम लोग ये इस पर प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि इस चीज़ को जितना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम लोग दे सकें या बिना OTP के भी काम कर सकें, क्योंकि अब AI आ गई है तो हम लोग चाह रहे हैं कि इसका भी यूज़ करते हुए अगर इन थोड़ी छोटी छोटी समस्याओं से हम लोग निजात पा जाएं तो हम लोग परीक्षा के क्षेत्र में और रिजल्ट निकालने के क्षेत्र में और भी सुधार कर सकते हैं। इसके अलावा हम लोग, आपको जान के खुशी होगी कि रुहेलखंड विश्वविद्यालय बरेली भारत के कुछ गिने चुने विश्वविद्यालयों में है जिसने 10 लाख लगभग मार्कशीट्स डिजिलॉकर पे अपलोड की है, और सन 2023 में पूरे भारत में महात्मा ज्योतिबा फुले रुहेलखंड विश्वविद्यालय नंबर 1 पे था डिजिलॉकर पे अब मार्कशीट अपलोड करने में। तो यहाँ तक हम लोगों ने छात्रों को ये सुविधा दी हुई है कि ताकि ग्रामीण परिवेश से जो छात्र आ रहे हैं उनको भी टाइमली वो जब भी चाहें डिजिलॉकर से अपनी मार्कशीट अपलोड कर सकते हैं और उसको यूज़ कर सकते हैं। जहाँ तक बात है कि उनके फॉर्म्स, जब वो फॉर्म्स भरते हैं तो उस फॉर्म्स में थोड़ी सी दिक्कतें उनको इसलिए आती है क्योंकि थोड़ी सा ये ऑनलाइन ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस न होने के कारण वो दे देते हैं साइबर कैफ़े को फॉर्म, और साइबर कैफ़े में इतनी मिस्टेक्स आ जाती हैं कि पता चला कि जब रिजल्ट हम लोग निकाल लिए तब वो उन बच्चों को पता चलता है कि भाई हमारे फॉर्म में गलती हो गई, फादर्स नेम, मदर्स नेम या डेट ऑफ बर्थ में इस तरीके की छोटी छोटी गलतियां होती हैं, जिसका भी हम लोग समाधान आने वाले दिनों में कर रहे हैं कि इसको ऑनलाइन ही हम लोग कंप्लेन लें और ऑनलाइन ही इसको सेटल डाउन कर लें। तो इस तरीके के हम लोग कुछ प्रयास कर रहे हैं जिससे कि ग्रामीण क्षेत्र के, ग्रामीण परिवेश के, या चूँकि हमारे यहाँ लो इनकम वाले भी, लो इनकम के परिवार के स्टूडेंट्स रहते हैं और उससे जुड़े रहते हैं, तो इसलिए हम लोगों को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा चीज़ें इस तरीके को उपलब्ध कराने का कराया जाता है कि वो उनको विश्वविद्यालय बार बार आना न पड़े, क्योंकि इतना दूर आने से विश्वविद्यालय कुछ की दूरी तो लगभग 250-300 किलोमीटर हो जाती है। तो हम लोग ये कोशिश करते हैं कि उन छात्रों को विश्वविद्यालय ना आना पड़े, और इसी वजह से हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन माइग्रेशन और प्रोविजनल की सुविधा भी दी है, और निकट भविष्य में और भी चीज़ें जिस तरीके से छोटी छोटी कंप्लेन हम लोगों के सामने आ रही हैं इसको भी हम लोग दूर करने का प्रयास करें और सभी तरह के छात्रों को समान रूप से अवसर मिल जाए।
Exceptional inputs from Dr. Sanjiv Singh. The way he kept everything towards student-centric, I think that is where each one of us would appreciate the effort that a controller of examination and at the larger level, Honorable Vice Chancellors are taken, because with 350 centers, hundreds of universities getting connected, students from 60% from the rural walks of life, the way they keep every student as a priority, I think it's commendable. And sending OTPs to the students, with 10 lakh students mark sheets being uploaded, I understand uploading one paper online takes time, but uploading 10 lakh papers, multiply by the time which is taken for one paper. I think exceptional job being done by Professor Garg on my right, who suggested that they have done for last 15 years, and Professor Singh, who have suggested that they were numero uno in last year 2023, where you did it 10 lakh. Commendable job, sir, commendable. I think appreciation from everyone on the screens there who really appreciate the point and celebrate the student-centric approach that your university takes up. Exceptional, and we are all in awe by hearing all this. Now, dear friend, Dr. Rajiv Kamal Sharma sir, on the second left to me. Sir, again, many policies, NEP 2020 to be in particular, UGC guidelines, NAC, which is NAAC, NBA, NCRF, to name a few, I would say, apart from some international which are AACSB and BGA, AMBA and others, emphasize digitalization and outcome-based education. So dear listeners on the screen, it will always be an OBE that you would listen from the esteemed panelists, outcome-based education. So the question is, how can universities align their examination processes with these frameworks while keeping them student-friendly and flexible? Sir, I repeat my question. Many policies, NEP 2020, UGC guidelines, NAC, NBA and NCRF emphasize digitalization and outcome-based education. Sir, how can universities align their examination processes with these frameworks while keeping the student-friendly approach at the same time flexible? Thank you, sir. And we are really eager to listen to your insights. You bring with 20 plus years of experience as an academician and controller of examinations at Chitkara University, Punjab, India. Thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Devesh, I will first of all speak about NEP 2020. So NEP 2020 gives us a mandate that we should move away from the memory-based examination system. So this system was there in place for so many years because we were not having any other tools to do the evaluation of the students. And memory-based examination system, basically this is evaluating students based on their lower order thinking skills. It is not evaluating the students based on their higher order thinking skills. So once the digitalization is introduced in the examination, then we are able to analyze or we are able to assess students based on their higher order thinking skills also. For this, we are using blended evaluation schemes where students are having labs through virtual mode. There are virtual modes through which the student can learn in the labs also. We are using coding platform to assess the student for coding subjects. We are having digital portfolios and project-based evaluation also. So when we are using this mix of continuous assessment, project work and digital assessment, then we are aligning ourselves with the major requirement of the NEP 2020. Now talking about NAC and NBA, so the mandate which is given by the NAC and NBA is that all the assessment should be well aligned which should be in accordance with the other outcome-based education. So that means all the assessment should address one or another course outcome of that particular course, and in other words, the assessment should be mapped with the program outcome of that particular program also. So by digitalization of examination, we are able to do that very easily. Now we are having digital examination portals where we can upload questions or question banks, and each question is mapped with the particular CO, means course objective, course outcome, program outcomes, and with the Bloom taxonomy level, and we can also upload the rubrics for the evaluation of that particular question. Now when the student is appearing for the examination, then we can have different questions for the different students, but the attributes of the question remain the same. We can shuffle the option of the options also in the answers, and when the student attempts that assessment, then we can have analytic on the dashboard where we can see that the entire class, what is the average you can say attainment of that particular course objective for the average class, and how many students are below average, how many students are above average, and then we can strategize our policies accordingly, where we need that how many students we need to focus who are lagging behind academically, and how many, you can say, advanced learner we are having in our system who can be given, you can say, a higher level of assessment. So by doing this, we have introduced rubrics also. When we use rubrics, so by using rubrics we can check that whether the students are having or whether the students have developed problem solving skills, whether they are ready to work in teams, whether they are having good communication skills also, right? So tools like question bank with COs, Bloom taxonomy levels, and rubrics, they give us complete insight to the outcome based education, and we are having quantitative values for those objectives, and definitely we are able to match with the mandate given by NAC and NBA for the outcome based education compliance. Now NCRF, so basically NCRF main requirement is the credit mobility. So for that, as has been said by the different panelists, that academic bank of credits, DigiLocker and NAT, they are there. So we are uploading all the credits earned by the student on the academic bank of credits, so that student can see, and the mobility of the student from one organization to another organization is easier. So the degrees are available on the DigiLocker for and the entire batch which has been graduated from our university. So student, and that can be verified at any level by any verifying agency. So these are the things which we have taken up. So digitalization basically ensure fairness and transparency in examination through secure login. Means we can use the digitalization for remote examination also. When the students are using secure login, then their identity is verified by using different AI tools also, and their assessments can also be evaluated using the AI. So by these all measures, we can definitely achieve whatsoever has been mandated to us by NDP 2020, NAC, or NBA and NCRF. Thank you.
Wonderful insight by Dr. Rajiv Kamal Sharma, the Controller of Examination, profound academician at Chitkara University, Punjab, India. Sir, the way you suggested that how a low order thinking is now being transformed to a higher order thinking. To simplify things, I would use the concept of Bloom taxonomy, like where we have a remember and understand at a very basic level and apply, analyze at a top level. So sir suggested his point that how in our traditional system we were doing a memory-based examination. So before examination, at the night you remember everything that you have learned in last 6 months, and then in the examination, basis your memory, whatever you remember, try to answer the questions. But the scenario has changed now. Every question, every single question is mapped to a course outcome. There's, for example, it's a course of, say, marketing management or communication. Each course has 3 to 4 outcomes. Each question is mapped to one of the outcome, at the same time mapped to a competency, say critical thinking. Communication skill is a competency. And universities also go to an extent to map these questions to the sustainable development goals. So when a student sees a question on the screen, the student is not just being evaluated for that question, the student is also being evaluated on certain competency, on a course outcome, from a Bloom taxonomy perspective, whether the student is at a lower order or a higher order thinking. And then moving forward, they also take measures and segregate the students, as the terminology says, the slow learner and the advanced learner, and then the next course of action is being decided. So next time any of the student appears for the question paper, do not just think that you are being evaluated out of 100. It's a 360-degree competency-based evaluation that we are doing in the framework of the Honorable UGC, NEP, NAC, NBA, and NCRF to begin with. And these have been my one-to-one questions to each of the panelists. Now, with the permission of the panelists, I have a student-centric question, and it will be my pleasure, sir. Dr. Singh, मैं आपसे ही start करूँगा because आपकी हर बात में student आता है, आपकी हर line में मैंने student सुना from Mahatma Jyotibai Phule Rohilkhand University. Of course, each university is very student-centric, but maybe हम साथ बैठे हैं या मुझे students आपसे ज़्यादा लग रहे हैं सुनने में, तो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन सर यही है कि फ्रॉम अ स्टूडेंट पर्सपेक्टिव एक बहुत ही कॉमन सी चीज़ हो जाती है स्ट्रेस। जब से ही एग्जाम का नाम लेते हैं, जब हम भी स्टूडेंट थे, एग्जामिनेशन का टाइम इज नॉट जस्ट स्ट्रेस फॉर द फैमिली, इट इज ऑल्सो फॉर द नेबर्स। वो भी म्यूजिक तेज नहीं चला सकते, इनफैक्ट इतना माहौल गमगीन और या कह सकते हैं गंभीर हो जाता है। सो फ्रॉम अ स्टूडेंट पर्सपेक्टिव, हाउ कैन यूनिवर्सिटीज मेक एग्जामिनेशन रिफॉर्म्स लेस स्ट्रेसफुल? दैट इज थ्रू mock test, orientation or counseling support. Sir, this is the question from the students that we generally go under stress. बहुत ही stress का माहौल हो जाता है जैसे ही एग्जाम डेट शीट आता है, ये साइन होते हैं कंट्रोलर एग्जामिनेशन के, तो उस टाइम पे कैसे हम इसे लेस स्ट्रेसफुल बना सकते हैं? ये क्वेश्चन सर स्टूडेंट्स ने आपके लिए भेजा है।
स्ट्रेस एक स्वाभाविक प्रक्रिया है और वो सभी के साथ होता है। हम लोग भी कोई डिसीजन लेते हैं तो स्ट्रेस के से ही गुजरते हैं। आप भी कोई डिसीजन लेते होंगे तो स्ट्रेस से ही गुजरते होंगे। क्यों? क्योंकि ये पता नहीं है कि क्या पॉजिटिव होगा क्या नेगेटिव होगा। लेकिन ये एक जनरल प्रोसेस है और ये नॉर्मल चीज़ ही है। क्यों? क्योंकि हम एग्ज़ाम देते हैं तो भी स्ट्रेस से गुजरते हैं, जिस दिन रिजल्ट निकलने वाला होता है उस दिन भी स्ट्रेस में रहते हैं। तो ये ऐसी चीज़ है जिसको कि हम लोग प्रयास करते हैं कि, और हमारे यहाँ वीसी साहब का भी ये प्रयास रहता है कि छात्रों को जितना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम लोग रिलैक्स कर सकें। और यूजीसी भी करती है इस समय कि हम लोग पहले नंबर्स का ही एक दौड़ होती थी, अंधी दौड़, अब जो है ग्रेडिंग पॉइंट होते हैं। तो ये छात्रों को रिलैक्स करने का ही हमारे ख्याल से प्रयास है, जिस वजह से छात्रों पे नंबर का बोझ न रहे। और इसके साथ ही पहले हम लोग जब एग्ज़ाम देते थे तो 100 नंबर के पेपर होते थे, उसमें कहीं कोई इंटरनल नहीं, कोई सेशनल नहीं, कोई प्रैक्टिकल नहीं। लेकिन अब क्या है कि उसी को हम लोग बांट देते हैं। जैसे अभी NEP 2020 में भी ये है कि जो आउट ऑफ 100 में कितने सेशनल होंगे, कितने के प्रैक्टिकल होंगे, कितने के थ्योरी होंगे। तो लड़कों का स्ट्रेस कम करने का तो प्रयास किया जाता है और बराबर हमारी सभी संस्थाएं इस दिशा में प्रयासरत हैं। यूपी गवर्नमेंट भी इस दिशा में प्रयासरत है कि छात्रों पे कम से कम बोझ हो। क्यों? क्योंकि परीक्षा अपने आप में एक पढ़ाई ही समझिए कि पढ़ाई का स्ट्रेस ही सबसे भारी होता है। क्योंकि पढ़ना जिसको अच्छा लगा वो तो बढ़िया कर जाता है, लेकिन जिसको थोड़ी प्रयास करना पड़ता है वो थोड़ी सा पढ़ाई के प्रति उसको लगता है कि भारी है। जबकि वो पढ़े अगर सामान्य रूप से और डेली पढ़े तो किसी तरीके का कोई, हम लोगों को भी लगता था शुरू में कि भाई पढ़ाई बड़ी कठिन चीज़ है, लेकिन धीरे धीरे जब हम लोगों ने प्रयास किया तो अच्छा कर गए उसमें। इसी तरीके से छात्रों से हमारा अनुरोध है कि सभी छात्र उसको जिस तरीके से वो खेल में रुचि लेते हैं उसी तरीके से पढ़ाई में भी रुचि लें। और पढ़ाई में जब वो स्वाभाविक रूप से पढ़ेंगे, और एक इधर हम छात्रों में देखे हैं कि वो गूगल से ज़्यादा पढ़ना चाहते हैं, यूट्यूब से ज़्यादा पढ़ना चाहते हैं, जबकि हमारा सजेशन ये है छात्रों को कि वो बुक्स पढ़ें। क्यों? क्योंकि जब तक वो बुक्स नहीं पढ़ेंगे, जब तक बेसिक्स नहीं जानेंगे, तो उनको हमेशा ये कठिन लगेगा और बोझ जैसा लगेगा। जब वो बुक्स पढ़ना चालू करेंगे और बुक्स फ्रेंडली हो जाएंगे तो हमें लगता है कि छात्रों की इस तरह की स्ट्रेस वाली समस्याएं वो दूर हो सकती हैं। और हम तो देखे हैं कि अब छात्र इस तरीके के हो गए हैं कि 20 क्वेश्चन मिल जाएं, इम्पॉर्टेंट मिल जाएं, तो इन सब से उनको बचना चाहिए। और प्रथम प्रयास में उनको चाहिए कि वो बुक पढ़ें। क्यों? क्योंकि सरकार ने प्रयास करके, पहले तो ईयरली एग्जाम होते थे जिसमें साल भर पढ़ना होता था, अब सेमेस्टर एग्जाम होने लगे हैं जिसमें कि 6 महीने के कोर्स का ही एग्जाम होता है। तो इस तरीके से सरकार ने और हमारे शिक्षाविदों ने, हमारे टीचर्स ने भी काफ़ी प्रयास किया है कि छात्रों के बोझ जितने कम से कम हो सके उसको कम करके और फ्रेंडली बनाया जाए। तो हमें लगता है कि हमारा सभी छात्रों से यही अनुरोध है कि बुक्स पे अगर ध्यान देंगे तो ज़रूर वो इस चीज़ से दूर होंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Wonderful insights from Professor Singh. Sir suggested that if you become friends with books and treat them as your good friends, I think the stress is half gone. At the same time, sir made a critical point that if you tend to learn a night before the examination, it will always be stressful. Try to be in a continuous learning manner. Try to learn throughout your semester, and do not think that examinations are there to evaluate and give you marks for a sort of competition. The universities and the UGCs are taking action to convert marks into grades so that the parity can come. At the same time, students need to be stress-free, be comfortable, and think that it is a mode where you can be evaluated and a grade is being given. But be friends with books, avoid learning from unauthorized source of learnings and knowledge. But remember that the course outcomes, the course handouts are being given, and there are some reference books are being mentioned at the document. So refer those books, and the books have been put very cautiously, and they are actually in tune with your level of learning. So if you abide by the books, it's sir's message, and continuous learning is what he expects each of his students to stay stress-free for the examinations. Thank you, sir. बहुत ही अच्छे आपने insights दिए, and we really congratulate you कि आपने दिल से जो students के लिए बात कही और वो ज़रूर उसको सुनेंगे. Thank you, sir. Professor Singh से आपने सुना कि कैसे आप एग्जाम को स्ट्रेस फ्री कर सकते हैं. Now it is Professor Garg that who will be suggesting us. He is also controller of examinations, apart from in charge of officiating in charge at registrar designation, Central University of Punjab, Batinda. So the question, I repeat, is from the student's perspective, how can universities make examination reforms less stressful? That is through mock test, orientation or counseling support. Sir, we would like to hear your inputs. Professor B.P. Garg, sir.
सर ये बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है. देश के प्रधानमंत्री भी जो परीक्षा पे चर्चा तो कंटिन्यूसली वो सीरीज चल रही है, तो स्टूडेंट को स्ट्रेस फ्री करने के लिए बहुत सारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर लेवल पे भी ये प्रयास हो रहे हैं, और इट इज़ अवर जॉइंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ऑल द यूनिवर्सिटीज़ एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स कि उनका स्ट्रेस को कैसे रिड्यूस किया जाए. तो एक बात आई थी, डॉक्टर सिंह साहब ने कहा था भी परीक्षा जब शुरू होती है तो बच्चे उस टाइम में अपनी प्रिपरेशन शुरू करते हैं, तो इट इज़ वेरी स्ट्रेसफुल. अगर वो कंटिन्यूस अपना काम करे थ्रू द सेमेस्टर और इवेल्यूशन भी कंटिन्यूस इवेल्यूशन हो, 3 आवर एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम जो है दैट इज़ वेरी डेंजरस एंड स्ट्रेसफुल. इफ कंटिन्यूस इवेल्यूशन अगर होती है तो जिसमें डे 1 से जब स्टूडेंट एंटर करता है इंस्टीट्यूशन में और डिग्री लेने तक जैसा सारा काम होता है, तो उसकी एंट्री टू एग्जिट ये उसको कंटिन्यूसली इवेल्यूएट किया जाए तो उसका स्ट्रेस बहुत कम होता है. इसमें कैसे MST जो होते हैं और क्लासरूम टेस्ट होते हैं, अगर ये भी इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाए तो ये भी स्ट्रेस कम करने में यूज़फुल होते हैं. रादर के सिर्फ एंड सेमेस्टर एग्जामिनेशन जो 3 घंटे का होता है तो वो उसको कम करना चाहिए. कैसे कम करना चाहिए? पूरे सिलेबस को 100% सिलेबस को, जैसे वी हैव इम्प्लीमेंटेड द नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क NCRF एंड द न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020, कीपिंग इन व्यू ऑल दीज 2 पॉलिसी मैटर्स. जो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ ने काम किया है इस दिशा में, जैसे सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ पंजाब ने, हमने इसमें प्रोजेक्ट वर्क शुरू किया बच्चों के लिए. वो प्रोजेक्ट इवेल्यूशन है, उसकी बच्चे की उसकी जो प्रेजेंटेशंस हैं तो उनको भी ध्यान में रखा जाता है. और जो उसका सोशल इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम वी हैव स्टार्टेड ए न्यू कंसेप्ट इन द सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ पंजाब, SIP, जैसे इकोनॉमिक्स में होता है स्ट्रेटजिक इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान, सिमिलरली सोशल इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम हैज़ आल्सो बीन इम्प्लीमेंटेड विद द सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी पंजाब. तो इसमें क्या है, स्टूडेंट को मान लो PG प्रोग्राम है 2 इयर्स का, उसमें 2 सेमेस्टर का उसका कोर्स वर्क है और 2 सेमेस्टर में इसमें सोशल इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम और प्रोजेक्ट वगैरह उसको जो दिए जाते हैं इसके करने के लिए. तो इस तरीके से बच्चे की जो रियल इंटेलिजेंस है, उसकी नॉलेज है, उसकी जो स्किल है, उसको सचमुच इवेल्यूएट करने में दैट इज़ वेरी यूज़फुल है. जो डिफरेंट मेथड्स हैं बच्चे को असेस करने के लिए, असेसमेंट उसकी असाइनमेंट बेस्ड है, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग उसकी कैसी है, जैसे ओपन बुक एग्जामिनेशन का जो कंसेप्ट है, बीच में ये जो क्लासरूम टेस्ट है और मिड सेमेस्टर टेस्ट MST, तो इसमें हम ओपन बुक एग्जामिनेशन भी इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं। रादर उसको जो एंड सेमेस्टर है, टू डॉक्टर सिंह साहब ने जैसे कोट किया था, रिमोट एरिया, रूरल एरिया के जो लोग हैं उनके लिए जो प्रोक्टेड एग्जामिनेशन है, बच्चा अपने घर से नियरेस्ट डिस्टेंस पे कहीं कैफ़े पे बैठकर या कहीं अपनी फैसिलिटी एज पर द फैसिलिटी वो करे, तो उसको उसमें भी यूज़फुल हो सकता है। वो भी स्ट्रेस फ्री होता है। उसकी बच्चे की रिक्वायरमेंट पे उसमें एक्सेसिबिलिटी एंड इक्विटी का भी वो ध्यान में रखते हुए सभी को इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है, और वो हर एक जेंडर और कैटेगरी का स्टूडेंट है जो उसको एक इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी के माध्यम से वो इसको अपने स्ट्रेस को रिड्यूस कर सकता है। अगर मैं ये एक सभी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को और सभी स्टूडेंट्स को ये बोलना चाहूँगा कि आप अपनी स्टडी को डे 1 से फोकस करें और एंड तक वो सारा काम चलता रहे, रादर के जब डेट शीट एक बार अनाउंस हो जाती है उसके बाद आप लेट नाइट तक स्टडी शुरू करोगे, तो दैट विल रियली क्रिएट द स्ट्रेसफुल एटीट्यूड। सो वी शुड अवॉइड ऑल दिस थिंग्स।
Thank you, Garg sir. Exceptional inputs from Professor B.P. Garg, who is Controller of Examination, Registrar in Charge, Central University of Punjab, Batinda. Sir started this discussion that this point is not just with the students, it is also registered at the PMO, and where a program called Pariksha Pe Charcha has also given insights by the Honorable Prime Minister that how the stress can be reduced. Sir also suggested that their university not just focuses on students to become a great professional, but a great human being by introducing SIP programs like social internship programs. And sir also gave his special tips that students should not just wait for the final examination, but should give equal importance to MSTs and SSTs, which are their midterm exams, where the students can actually get themselves acquainted to concepts like digital proctoring, open book exam, project-based evaluation, and the hybrid model. So the stress automatically reduces for the final exam. Ma'am, I would also like to hear the same insights for these questions, where the student's perspective, how can universities make examination reforms less stressful, that is through mock test, orientation, counseling support. We would now be hearing insights from Professor Shruti Goyal, Controller of Examination, Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, Punjab. Over to Madam Goyal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As we have seen in the discussion today, that the focus has moved from rote learning to competency-based learning. So one of the initiatives that we have taken at our university to ease stress among the students is the manner in which the question paper is made. Earlier, the entire question paper was based on memory-based learning. But since last 3 years, we have introduced a change where we provide the bare act to the students. Because I come from field of law and I am the controller of examinations for a law university, and the law universities are responsible for shaping up the future judges, the lawyers. So in order to reduce stress, we now give them the bare acts during the examination. These bare acts are also provided among all the judicial examinations that take place across the country. So what we expect from the student is, you do not memorize the provisions as such. You just learn that how those provisions are to be applied on a particular question. So we have changed the pattern of our question paper, that now from memory-based questions, we ask them propositional questions. In every question, we give them a situation, a legal situation. For example, we give them a situation that a wife, she wants maintenance from her husband, and this is the situation. She has left him and gone. Is she entitled to claim compensation or not? So the students have their bare acts, they have CRPC, they have BNSS provisions with them. They can look into those provisions. And now the only thing that they are supposed to write in the exam is how to apply that provision to the current problem. So the stress is reduced because now they are not focusing on the memory test. Because When we say application, once you know how to apply law to a particular problem, you need not revise it again and again. So that is an initiative that has been taken at my university to ease stress among students during the exams. Thank you.
Thank you. Exceptional inputs from Dr. Shruti Goyal from Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law in her capacity as Controller of Examination, where she suggested that they have worked on the instrument itself. It is no more a traditional question paper, it is now a propositional or a situation-based question paper where they are training their students or the budding lawyers and judges on the bare acts, and that is where they would be experiencing or experimenting or applying their knowledge in times to come. I mean, it is commendable that how university have taken a decision to do away with the traditional paper and taken a punt or a challenge to go to a fresh instrument which is propositional, with an intent in mind that my student, when becomes honorable judge or lawyer, should be in a capacity that, hey, I have done this during my school days and my college days, and I'm competent enough to apply my knowledge in the current situation as well, and would really appreciate the effort of the Controller of Examination, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and the department at a large, that they were times ahead and they were futuristic. Thank you, ma'am, for your insights. Sir, I would believe that this would be maybe a final confirmation and conversation where you would be giving the students' perspective on how university can make examination reforms less stressful through mock test orientation or counseling support. We will be hearing from Dr. Rajiv Kamal Sharma, a dear friend, Controller of Examination at Chitkara University, Punjab, India, in his capacity as Controller of Examination. Also, a renowned professor of mechanical engineering, comes with 20 plus years of experience dealing with students, and himself a great scholar at large. Thank you, sir.
What I feel, Devesh, that whenever we want to implement any examination reform, so first thing which we should do is we should introspect our own system. When we introspect our own system, then we come to know what are our core strengths and what are our core, you can say, weaknesses or challenges. So depending upon that, since digitalization is the new norm nowadays, so we need to have appropriate digitalized tools for assessment in place. Those tools should be well tested in advance so that whenever students are using those tools, they don't get into the panic. So that is a major challenge which I see in the examination system these days, when the student is appearing in some online examination and then all of a sudden the system crashes. So that is the one of the, you can say, aspect which should be taken care of. The students should be, once the system is set, when you have selected the appropriate tool for the evaluation of the student, and next thing is to educate faculty about that tool, that what is this tool, how it will evaluate the student, and what are the major aspects or attributes which they need to put into the tool when they are setting up the question paper or the assessment. Now, when the faculty is ready for that, then we should move toward the student. So the mock tests, or you can say the pilot run, can be done with that tool with the students, and the output should be analyzed, and then it should be assessed that yes, this is the drawback or this is the shortcoming of this tool, and we should not implement that immediately, but we should first of all make change in the tool, and then it should be launched for the student. Because the students are now very tech savvy, they are very much comfortable working with the laptops, they are very much comfortable working with the mobile phones. So these tools will definitely enhance the quality of evaluation, but this can increase the stress among the students if these tools are not appropriately tested. So that is one point which I want to highlight in this case.
Wonderful insights from Dr. Rajiv Kamal Sharma, sir, talked on behalf of Chitkara University, Punjab, a leading private university in Punjab. Sir suggested that it's always better to test before you go to the final stage. So not just for the students, but it is imperative for the faculty to test the tool, to be confident with the tool. This is what they expected out of it, because if you inspect what you expect, the results are going to be better. And at the same time, sir brushed upon the fact that the examination would be less stressful. So we have had a great conversation. It is my utmost privilege to thank each of the esteemed panel members, Professor B.P. Garg, Dr. Shruti Goyal, Dr. Sanjiv Singh, Dr. Rajiv Kamal Sharma, on behalf of Confederation of Indian Private Universities, CIPU, which is a not-for-profit membership-driven platform committed to strengthen the voice, visibility and value of university is India. CIPU works relentlessly to foster academic excellence, policy advocacy and institutional collaboration by connecting thought leaders, as we have on the panel here, from academia, industry and government. I congratulate each of the listeners for actively listening and getting insights for this Voices of University Governance series, which is Knowledge Dialogue Series to be precise. The topic was ensuring academic integrity, digital proctoring and examination reforms. Thank you all the respected panelists for your insights, and congratulations to each of the panel members for their participation and giving insightful. This discussion would go a long way, and I also thank active listeners on the screen for their patience listening, and I'm sure you would have got great insights from discussion which was hosted at Chitkara University, Punjab, organized by Confederation of Indian Private Universities. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
बैठे रहना भी वो